Look at this little wet part down here. So this is kind of the bad news of yesterday. So I broke the Bobcat, and we can talk a little bit more about that. I'm not happy about it. I feel pretty bad actually. The machine's awesome. You know, it's really my fault. You know, at first I thought, oh, the machine blew up, and that's why it sprayed fluid out the end of the bucket. And I was a little bit disappointed in the machine, but it's not the machine. It was me, and I'm going to show you what happened. It's, you know, hopefully you're going to be able to learn from my mistakes. So let's go have a look and see what it is. All right. So here's kind of what happened. Is I was working a bit, and I kind of noticed there was a bit of a leak. You know what I mean? A little bit of like fluid in the bucket there. You know, not so much as this, but a little bit less. And so what I figured was it was just some, you know, some juice from the logs, you know, log juice, picking up them logs and squeezing them with this, you know, with this big, anyhow, that's not the case. Here, I'm gonna show you guys right here. You see that? That piece of metal blew up right there. Well, it didn't blow up. I would say it got crushed. So as I was working, I kind of noticed that at times the bucket would be able to articulate fully all the way. You know, and for all you experienced smart guys, you're probably thinking, I know what happened. So it turns out that this lifting lug that I put on here is likely the culprit, and I can tell because I see some chafing and some marks up here. But anyhow, I kind of noticed early on that there was a little bit of that fluid, very small, and then I noticed that at times the bucket didn't articulate fully out. So what does that mean? Right? What does that mean? So what that means is that essentially this this shackle here, that's right here, was essentially getting jammed in here. So that's why at times it was able to curl all the way out, and at other times it was able to curl all the way out, and then at other times this here would get in the way. Now I didn't force it too hard, well, at least not until the end, I guess. But what happened was, you know, like I did see what looked like a rock kind of pop out, and I was like, oh, there must have been a rock kind of jammed in here and got shot out from the hydraulics, right? You know, like just being squeezed out, shot out. And then I was doing another maneuver, you know, picking up a log and moving it. And what happened was I heard kind of like a little bit more of a, you know, a little bit more of a crunch and a pop. I was like, okay, that's a little bit weird, but must just be the nature of all this metal getting settled in together, right, or working together. So then I go to remove the bucket, and that's what happened. That's when the big one. So that's when essentially I'm trying to get these pins to move back and forth, right, the exchange pins, and it's not really working. And then so I'm kind of trying to reposition the button, the bucket, thinking that there's a, you know, a little bit of, you know, the angle's not quite right or whatever. There's some force on the pins, needs to be released. So then I'm kind of moving around, and then I hear like a big pop, right? And kind of like, you know, that kind of sound of like some metal, some cast metal, like popping under like some crushing pressure. So that's what happened. Essentially, when I was trying to work with this guy right here, and I articulated the bucket this way, this guy here got put in here. Now, what that means is that possibly, you know, this here looks like it's bolted on right here. So it looks like I don't know, I'm gonna take this thing off here. So here's the trick, is I thought because I wasn't digging, I could leave this thing on and it wouldn't be an issue. And I think in some cases it wasn't an issue, it kind of flipped out on its own. But I'm gonna take this thing off this morning. You know, it's a beautiful morning today, but kind of demoralizing too, because what's going on, you know, what's going on here is I haven't even done my first job. The one that we were gonna do got canceled due to COVID. The customer got really concerned. That's when there was like a big spike. And the second one, same thing, the person's just super freaked out. Just realized they didn't want to even come out of their house. Now it might be me, maybe I need to work on my presentation game. But the reality is we are gonna get that job. We're gonna do some work around here. We're gonna make it happen. Okay, so I don't know, let me know what you guys think. I think the answer here is if you have any lifting devices or shackles and stuff, take this stuff off, because it's gonna get in the way. I'm glad that nothing happened with this guy. So that guy's super strong, which is good. But yeah, this piece here, I mean, if you look at it, it looks like it is bolted on, because you can see a separation between two pieces right here. So ideally that can be just changed there, but man, this thing here was shooting some fluid. So I don't know if I did anything with the hydraulics or it's just the nature of that. Yeah, so okay, you see that? That's a bolt. So there was a bolt in there. So there's probably one on the other side as well. I don't know. All right, guys, it's just really demoralizing to have to pay for repairs, or, you know, I don't know. I don't think this is really a warranty item, maybe. You have some warranty items called stupidity. You get 3 stupidity calls with every warranty. That actually would be a pretty good deal. Yeah, okay, so that's the plan. But the machine is solid. Like, look at that. It's got enough power just to crush itself and tear itself apart. And I'm pretty impressed. So obviously the hydraulic fluid that sprayed out was when I was trying to, you know, actuate these guys right here. So yeah, somehow, hopefully it was just spraying out of that part there too, and there's nothing more serious about that. But you know, in essence, I guess it's just gonna be a bunch of seals and stuff. So let's see what it is to take this thing apart. So depending on what this is, let's have a look. Let's take a close look at what needs to be repaired and removed. Okay, so this whole pin needs to be removed. So really the bucket, and then it's going to be this piece here. So it's going to be this exchange piece. So I think if anything, worst case scenario is this piece needs to be replaced. But I got a feeling that this here, right there, can just replace that part. As long as there's no hydraulic issues, it should just be this piece right here. Because you can see that's a separate piece that runs on that collar. And you know, it is bolted onto that other part, so maybe that's a shear piece that was designed by Bobcat. If that was pretty genius. Oh no, it's not a shear piece. You see this right here? Let's take a look. Okay, so that collar that's sitting on this this shaft right here, this collar is the one that's actually the hydraulic actuator. So what happens is the hydraulic fluid goes into here, spins it one way or spins it the other way. So that's why, I wonder if we can fix that. What do you think? You think we could get Wen to just weld that up into like a big glob of goodness and then just machine it? I don't really think so. I think that the integrity of that casting is probably shot all the way through the bottom. So, and on top of that, looks like I'm gonna have to drill out a bolt. Yeah, so at the very least, this piece is gonna have to come off here in order to get the bolt out, which means the thumb needs to come off. Like, I'm not a heavy-duty mechanic, but we know this is heavy-duty business. So one thing that was cool, I thought, like after this injury to the Bobcat was obviously too powerful for me. I couldn't handle it. But what I realized was that the hydraulics is pretty cool, because that's just one kind of circuit, right? So even though that one got damaged, unless you actually run the control and put pressure into the line one way or the other, it's still good. Everything's still gonna work fine. And I thought that was pretty cool. So that's kind of a nice design, that everything's kind of its own separate circuit. And that's why you see so many hoses back there. I think all of these circuits are home run back to the hydraulic block where the controls are. So that's pretty cool. So the other problem I've got, it's not just this one, you know, I've got another problem. My other problem is that I gotta get this bucket off, otherwise I got nowhere to park this thing. You know, so I've got a very low, shallow shelter in the back, and that's where I'm storing it, and I need the grading bucket or no bucket in order to get that on there. So I think that given I have no pressure, I think I might be able to press those pins back in. That's a possibility. I can press the pins back in with some sort of like a bolt or some sort of a C-clamp. So that's a problem, because otherwise I'm gonna have to leave the excavator parked outside in front of the house, which I don't want to do. It's a good flex move, right? Good flex, but you know, some weird stuff going on in the neighborhood these days.